Hello, boys and girls. Undertaker Freak 1127 here. First and foremost, congratulations to the Boston Bruins for winning the 2011 Stanley Cup Finals. That series was entirely capricious. One game, it was 8-0. The next game, it was a 1-0 shutout in the other team's favor. The next game, it was a big clusterfuck. Both teams showed equal signs of ineptitude at one point or another, but eventually the Boston Bruins came out on top, even though Vancouver won the President's Trophy, even though Vancouver dominated the regular season, even though Vancouver dominated the playoffs, at least until the finals anyway. The Boston Bruins still came up on top and came out on top. And it's actually sort of cool to me because the trophy stays in the original 6 teams, the trophies that I personally believe are the most deserving of the Stanley Cup. And I know it's going to get a lot of eyebrows raised in there, but that's just my opinion. And we're going to move right along to the fact that I was just talking to Arch Fiend the other day about the possibility of Vancouver rioting because it looked like all signs were pointing towards Vancouver losing. And I told him, come on, dude, that was 17 years ago. Do you honestly think that they're still in that mentality? They've grown up, they've matured, they know it's not very, it's not good human behavior to flip over cars and stab people in the back because your favorite hockey team lost. I'm sure they've grown up and they're going to take this loss with some tact and class and grace. Well, we saw how that turned out, and as per the stipulations of the bet, I have now lowered my prices to $2. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, let's keep it that way, okay? So yes, there was a gigantic riot. Huge riot after Vancouver lost, naturally. They had 2 big-ass TVs in the streets, and there were thousands upon thousands and thousands of people watching the game on these screens. And right when it looked like Vancouver was about to fall into the inevitable black hole that they were going to fall into and lose the finals, people started throwing shit at the screen, and it escalated. Now, the one thing I wonder above all else here is that this thing happened in 1994 in Vancouver. Anybody remember that? This happened in 1994 in Vancouver. So, now that Vancouver's back in the Stanley Cup Finals, and you have advance warning that they're going to lose, why did it take the cops so goddamn long to get there? Now, according to one report I read, it said 3 minutes, but from the looks of it, from the video that they had, I was watching about a 5-minute video of the riot, and there weren't any cops there in the at all for 5 minutes. So it might have been longer than that. I'm not too sure. But why were the cops not already positioned there with their truncheons and their shields and their riot gear out and their, their little flashbang grenades? Why did it take them any time at all to get there? Did they not take a cue? I mean, on a basic level, local businesses, houses, and other people's property should not have to suffer just because they're so much of a fanboy of their favorite hockey team that they have to riot when they lose, okay? Which leads to my next point. Why? I'm not just singling out the Canucks fans here. Why does anybody feel the need to riot just because their team lost a big game? You can give me the list, okay? They're mad because Vancouver was a top seed. Vancouver won the President's Trophy. Vancouver was supposed to win the Stanley Cup, but you know something? They didn't. And they went to riot over the ordeal. And that's something I can never get my head around. Why would you forcibly punch, kick, stab, shoot, put people in headlocks? Why would you deliberately harm other people, harm other people's property, break glass, stone cops, throw bottles, throw chairs, throw anything you can get your hands on that you could get airborne, knock down doors? Why would you loot places just because your fucking team lost? Sodomizing people in the streets, throwing them down open manholes, taking their underwear off and choking them with them, giving them wedgies on the top of light poles, all the other classy, tasteful things that these sports fans tend to do in riots, okay? Beating old women with baseball bats, throwing stones at innocent passersby. What is the point? Is there any greater example of fanaticism? It's a fucking sport. Don't get me wrong. I love hockey, and I love my Detroit Red Wings. Don't get me wrong there. But, the Detroit Red Wings, they have had a long period of futility in their history, and they probably will have another long period of futility in their history coming up if history serves it right. I cannot imagine one time seeing them in the finals, if they ever get there again. I cannot imagine one time standing out there watching the game and having the thought even occur to me that maybe we should riot because our team just lost. You know what I would do? Personally, this is just what I would do. It may call me kooky, crazy, wacky, out there, too far gone. Call me whatever you will, but this is what I would do. I would actually say, "Oh, look, our team lost, and they lost to the better team here. We didn't show up. We didn't perform. Oh, look at that. Game over. They pulled the goalie. Empty net goal. Game over. Oh. I'd be sad. I'd be disappointed. But you know what? Better fucking luck next year. And I would go home." Does that sound crazy to anybody else? I don't think it really sounds that crazy to me. I fail to see where that's crazy. And another thing about riots, if you're going to do all those things that I mentioned before, if you're going to throw rocks at people, throw drinks, throw anything you can get airborne, tip over cars, set them on fire, set police on fire, throw back their flashbang grenades, if you're going to do all these disgusting, violent, and heinous things to cops and your fellow man over a hockey game, if you're going to do all those things, do it over something that really matters, okay? Whatever happened to rioting for things that really matter, okay? Now, I know there's a difference between picketing, demonstrating, and rioting, but if you really, if you're really so headstrong in your conviction that your team should have won, stand outside the arena and protest and hold up signs saying Vancouver should have won, because that's about as logical as tipping over fucking cars and stabbing people. 3 people went to the hospital with stab wounds, by the way. That makes just about as much sense as going out and acting like complete tasteless, sore loser assholes and destroying things. And, that's another thing that hockey and soccer can share. Epic riots, I guess. But you know what? Don't people ever riot for their rights anymore? Don't people riot against discrimination that still happens? For human rights, okay? For women's rights, anything like that? Don't we still riot, for better wages? To show people we actually care about things? Because if you're rioting just for a fucking hockey game, you're showing people really how classless, tactless, and stupid you really are. And let me state, just so there's no confusion, I've already had one misguided YouTuber go after me for generalizing too much. I do not mean all Vancouver fans, because there is actually, the power of social media, a Facebook page dedicated to people who think that these rioters are a bunch of clueless dickholes. There's a page dedicated to people that want to actually help the cleanup. So if you live in the Vancouver area and you want to go ahead and help with the cleanup, it's probably too late now because they probably got it all taken care of. But you can go and join that and, help with the cleanup. You can clean up the messes of some of your dumber compatriots there. So yeah, I mean, this I should have known it was coming. I wrongly thought that Vancouver had grown up. Apparently I was wrong. If I'm just so out there to say that rioting over a sport is silly and stupid, I apologize, but that's just what I think. It is silly and fucking stupid. Riot for your rights. Riot for something you truly believe in. And, they're going to say you really truly believe in sports, but I hate to tell you this, but you have zero choice in how your team performs. Sure, you can be a fan and cheer for them, but you know who has a choice how your team performs? Your general manager, okay? Your coach, the coaching staff of the team. You are just a fucking fan watching the game. Other things you could write about, you actually have a choice in, like your rights and like social issues and economic issues and things like that. You have a choice. Somewhat anyway, and maybe not in this country, but in Canada, you have a choice to change some of those things. I still think you might have freedom of choice up there. We lost in America. Hopefully you still have it up there. Riot for things you can actually change, because you cannot change how your fucking team does, okay? That's all I gotta say. Undertaker Freak 1127. Have a good riot-free day, folks.